I gotta say, I really, really enjoyed watching this documentary. I got to commend you for just how candid and open you are throughout it. I think it's refreshing to see. Uh,
Thank you.
and I guess first off, was there anything that maybe you had second thoughts about including?
Yeah, there were a lot. My wife, who's the main producer on the film, Christina, she kicked me out of the editing room because I was too close. It was too personal. So she was very smart to do that. Yeah, there were a lot of things. It's really hard for me to watch the death match. It's hard for me to watch some of the mental health stuff. So, you know, I did want to, be really open and vulnerable and let people into my world and just kind of, but also it's really just a part of my world, even though it seems like I'm letting you into everything.
I think it's important to see that too as fans, just because we get to see a different side of it. It humanizes you, I think, more than we've ever known. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
But I know, at the beginning of the documentary, your wife she talks about how you were part of this rising group of actors in the 90s. Career trajectory went a little bit different direction. But is there anything you would take back, knowing what you know now, or are you happy because it's gotten you to where you are today?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think mistakes in life are meant to be learned from. So I wouldn't really change anything. I mean, I know there's a specific way to build a career that's, a lot more calculated. And if you want to do like really quality work on a certain level, you can do that. You just might not work for a couple years, which is
Mm,
really hard for me to do. I grew up with a father who was a working actor for 45 years and, really did everything uh, in his power to act and feed the family. So we always had a mentality of more like, working just to continue working is a
yeah.
big aspect to pay your bills and support your family. So I don't know. I mean, it's really important when you sort of, Hollywood's a lot about being on a roller coaster where you have these highs and lows, and it's how you kind of get through those times
Mm.
is what's important.
And now I know at one point in the doc you talk about the struggles of auditioning and having 10 years of rejection, which I think is crazy because I think you are an extremely talented actor.
Thank
But
you.
are there roles you would feel comfortable saying you went out for but didn't land? And if not, what kind of feedback were you getting?
Oh man, I mean, it's when you've been doing it for 30 years like me, you've kind of encountered almost anything. I got replaced day of on a set by Anthony Michael Hall. I was in a scene with him. I left the set and then he got recast as the lead and I got fired. I mean, there's things you go through are just insane in this business. But I don't know if I'd really change anything. Um, I really want to spend more of my time on projects that I really love the people I'm working with. I love the project. Be a little more nurturing about stuff. A lot of things I've learned is also that if you have the ability to do it yourself, which everyone kind of does with phones and
Mm-hmm.
with editing equipment, you should, because you just shouldn't wait for anybody. That's what I've really learned. It's,
Yeah.
if you want to do anything in this world, you've got to do it yourself.
Now, having watched the doc back yourself, at one point your wife says she's scared you could die, and she gets very emotional. I imagine that's hard for you to watch. What goes through your head when you hear her say that, especially knowing you did have an incident where you were very well could have had a very bad outcome.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I was learning a lesson in this film, and my lesson was to stop beating myself up, and my form of beating myself up, could kill me. So
Mhm.
um, I had to stop doing that. I had to stop doing things that were uh, abusive to myself. I had to start kind of even going further, and you have to nurture, your heart and who you are. And, if you grow, like I grew up, but I wasn't able to read very well because I have dyslexia, so I'm not a very good auditioner. But I'd always get really nervous in front of class, and this one teacher would always call me up in front of class. It had such a profound impact on me that whenever I was made to feel stupid, I'd get really angry. And that was just because I'd been telling myself for years that I'm dumb or whatever it is. And it's just not true. So once you stop telling yourself the lies that whatever's inside you tries to just throw you off, you start, having a better dialogue with yourself, and you start being able to not go down these really dark kind of sad, like, thought tornadoes that just don't lead to anything positive.